Hello again, it's Cons, and today I've got another episode of Connie's meme builds for you. Today we're taking a trip back in time to the old world to play an old school greatsword style that focuses on critical draw. Reminds me a lot of how I used to play 4U back when Rajang farming was the entire endgame. I'll show you the skills quickly. The essential skills are focus, critical draw, and quick sheath. They're the ones that make the set work. And then obviously you want crit boost for the DPS and just a bunch of other DPS skills. I'll show you how I decode these in, and I'll show you which weapons I'm using and how you might change that. Currently I'm using Ruinous Atrocity, Nagagante's greatsword. That's quite far into endgame though. If you don't have access to that or you don't want to use that, that's completely understandable too, and I'll show you how to adjust the set. So if you want to make small changes to it, you can swap out the attack charm for handicraft if your weapon needs it, and then swap out the challenger decorations for attack decorations to bring it back up. Alternatively, you can swap the attack charm for challenger charms and swap out the challenger decorations for attack decorations. And if you don't have the challenger plus, which is completely understandable, you can just lower it down to level 1s of either attack or agitator, up to you. Also, if you don't have the level 4 of charger / evasion, you could just run charger. You're just dropping 1 point of evasion. Again, just drop 1 point of evasion and 1 point of evasion. Like all my builds, I try to make it as accessible as possible, even if you don't have good level 4 decorations. So hopefully this is at least somewhat attainable. And yeah, you can vary up the charm to handicraft if you need to use a different weapon or you feel like using a different weapon. In the spirit of playing old school, I'm ignoring element, although in Iceborne, elemental greatsword is definitely a lot more sort of viable, and it's probably more meta, but I'm just going to go with this because it's quite a nice raw greatsword. The real crux of this set, however, and the reason I'm being forced to run 4 pieces of Velkhana, which might be confusing some people, is Velkhana Divinity. Now, if you remember, we had a video the other day where we talked about how this set bonus works, and we found that at level 3, it gives you a 30% bonus to all of your damage, elemental and raw. That's absolutely insane, and it stacks with every other buff. And so that's the crux of this set. Spamming unsheathe attacks, hopefully at level 3, potentially at level 1, and using that as our main source of DPS. We won't be using true charge slash. But anyway, I think rather than theory crafting with you, I should actually get into a hunt, so let's go for it. I thought I would talk quickly, whilst I make my way to Velkhana, about some of the other points of the set. The first thing is you don't really want to be running critical at all. Critical eye or anything like that, because, and even agitator, the affinity that comes from agitator makes no difference to the set because you have 3 points of crit draw. It's really important to remember. The nice thing is you don't have to worry about running expert, you don't have to worry about running things like weakness exploit. None of that stuff is important because you're guaranteed crits on your unsheathe attacks, and they are the source of 95% of our DPS. I'm actually going to enrage it straight away using the claw. Oh shoot, my bad. The reason for that is to activate agitator, which will give me a pretty substantial amount of raw. So we are now at level 3, and boom! 358 on an unsheathing attack. Isn't that crazy? 369 on an unsheathing attack. Let's not do that. $892 on level 3 unsheath. Agitator has worn off, so we can now re-enable it by going 1, 2, 3, and stab. And that's a free level 3. A free 871 damage. My god, I love this playstyle. And that's a 3 level 3 if I remember correctly. Oh, ho, 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 ho. And there's another one. 846. Okay, and just before we do some Kirin, which is actually a really nice matchup by the way, I just want to emphasize, we didn't even use our evasion mantle in that previous fight. You saw the numbers we were getting against Velkhana. Were pretty standard and easy to punish openings, and yet we were getting sometimes 870 plus damage. That's why I love this build. It might not be optimal, but it lets me play Greatsword the way I enjoy playing Greatsword and still do an absolute truckload of damage.